Hello and welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be taking a look at some more perks in Fallout New Vegas. Not all perks are created equal in the Wasteland, and we are going over 10 more of the worst perks in Fallout New Vegas. So, if you haven't seen the first part of this and you're wondering why certain perks aren't on this list, be sure to check that out. There should be a link to that video and some of my other Fallout videos down in the description below. Be sure to check those out. Let's begin this with our number 10 perk, and this time we actually have a three-way tie because these are all fairly similar perks to one another. So these are the Cannibal perks and the Cannibal related perks. For this we have three of them. There is Cannibal, Ghastly Scavenger, and Tribal Wisdom. Cannibal is a level 4 perk that allows you to feast on corpses to get health back and to get food back if you're playing on the survival difficulty. This also allows you to get another achievement called the Meat of Champions, and you can get a couple of voice lines with this, which are pretty funny. So this one is purely a meme related perk, and since it is a level 4 perks and it doesn't have any requirements to it, it's actually not a terrible perk if you just want to take it for a themed build or a meme build. It works really well there, or if you just didn't really care for any of the other level 4 perks, then it's an okay-ish option, but still not really that good. There's still some decent perks at level 2 and level 4 that you could have taken over Cannibal. The fact that you get some food back and some health back doesn't really matter even on the hardcore difficulty. Food is not very difficult to find. There's plenty of animals for you to kill and eat. Even if you're doing, say, a pacifist run and you are just being a opportunist and eating people, I still think that there's easier ways to find food, earn food, or just steal food from other people. You could always just buy it as well. It doesn't really serve you that much of a purpose in the Wasteland. Up next is Ghastly Scavenger, which is an even worse perk. This requires you to have the Cannibal perk, and then you also be level 12. This allows you to eat feral ghouls and super mutants. It does the same exact thing, except for it adds a couple more things that you can eat. You're only going to be taking this on a meme build or a theme build. There's no reason for you to get Cannibal to go into this perk because you don't really get any sort of major bonus from this. And then the last perk, being Tribal Wisdom, is obtained at level 8. You do need 70 survival for this, and this isn't related to the Cannibal perk, so you can take it whenever you'd like. But this way you take less limb damage from animals, and mutated insects, as well as you get 25% more poison resist, and you get the ability to eat insects in the sneak mode. Insects include things like scorpions, ants, Cazadors, stuff like that. This is a little bit better than the Cannibal perk in terms of its overall usefulness because this does get you at least a little bit extra stuff, but reduced limb damage isn't such a huge deal. You can always take doctor's bags or Hydra to fix broken limbs, and poison resist doesn't really help except for against things like Cazadors and giant rat scorpions, and that's about it. There are a couple other enemies that use poison, but those are the two major ones that you're going to be running into. And just being able to eat them doesn't help a whole lot. You actually even get half the amount of healing from eating the bugs and half the amount of food from eating the bugs than you do from eating ghouls, humans, or super mutants, weirdly enough. Either way, none of these perks are really all that great, and that's why they all come in here at our number 10 spot. Coming in at our number 9 spot, we have another two-way tie. This is Scounger and Fortune Finder. Fortune Finder is a level 6 perk that requires 5 luck, and it makes it so that you're more likely to get bottle caps in any container, unless you're at the Sierra Madre, in which case you're more likely to get chips from there. Getting extra chips at the Sierra Madre can be a little bit more useful than just getting bottle caps, and Scounger is a level 8 perk that requires 5 luck, and this makes it so you can find more ammunition in containers than you normally do. There's kind of a problem with both of these perks in that they just don't really give you that much of an advantage in Fallout New Vegas. It's neither hard to find ammo, nor is it hard to find money. Finding random ammo can be kind of useful early on, so it's not terrible to take Scrounger if you really want that, but again, there is better perks before this, similar to the Cannibal perks that we talked about. Fortune Finder, we really don't need money. There's plenty of ways to break the bank in New Vegas. Just selling equipment generally will net you a ton of money. Gambling at the casino nets you a ton of money. Killing just powerful enemies, they'll likely have high-level gear that you can also sell. So there's just better ways to do that. And for finding ammo, most of the time it's just better to buy the ammunition that you want because certain vendors hold tons and tons of bullets in this. You can run somewhere to like the Great Khans and buy about 500 rounds of whatever the heck you want. Coming in at our number 8 spot, we have our final tie, and this is between Swift Learner and Lessons Learned. Swift Learner is a level 2 perk that only requires 4 intelligence. You can get 3 ranks of this, and what Swift Learner does is every time that you get experience, you get 10% more experience. Lessons Learned is a level 26 perk that requires 6 intelligence and the Lonesome Road DLC, and this gets you 1% XP gained per level. So if you're level 26 when you get this, then you'll be getting 20% or 26% more XP every time that you get XP. But there is a problem with both these perks, and that's there is no real reason for you to be grabbing these unless you just want to level up quickly, which doesn't really give you a huge advantage early on, honestly. Being a little bit lower leveled early on gets you more of an advantage if you're just worried about fighting more powerful enemies, because leveling up quicker, enemies will scale with your level. And if you don't really care about how quickly you're getting XP and you plan on just doing everything in Fallout, you can easily hit the level cap without too much trouble. Doing quests, killing things, completing speech checks, or completing challenges will net you plenty of XP that you don't really need either of these perks. And if you are planning on going all the way up to level 50, you can get by without either of these. Coming in at number 7, we have Mr. Sandman. This requires you to be level 10, and it requires you to have 60 sneak. What this perk lets you do is you can silently kill sleeping people to get bonus XP. This counts as non-feral ghouls and humans. Doesn't work for any other species that might be sleeping, and this perk is just not really that great. Being able to silently kill people in their sleep is a little bit useful, but you can already do that with suppressed weapons or things like melee and unarmed weapons that could just one-shot the enemy anyway, and it would get the same job done. So if you're thinking about taking this for a stealth assassin build, you don't even really need it for that. The extra XP that you get from this also just isn't worth it. There's just not enough people unless you just plan on stabbing everybody to death that you come across in their sleep, which could be an option, I guess, but it's not really a great option to get you a ton of XP and get you leveled up even faster. I'd recommend that you just kill them normally and pick a better level 10 perk than Mr. Sandman. At number 6, we have an eye for an eye, or at least that's what it should be called. This is just eye for eye, which is a weird way of saying it, but alright. This is a level 20 perk that you can get in the Honest Hearts DLC, and this makes it so you get 10% more damage every time you have a crippled limb. This does stack for each crippled limb that you have, so you can have potentially 60% more damage. I really wouldn't recommend that you do that though, and the only build that this kind of works on would be a sniper build, because a melee build you just don't want to be crippled in the first place. Sniper build you can kind of get away with it, at least if you selectively cripple certain parts of your body. Crippling your legs and your torso would be the easiest way to do this. That way your arms aren't crippled to where you have more sway, and your head's not crippled to where you just constantly keep getting the concussion effect. There is also problems with having crippled parts in the first place in New Vegas. If you have a crippled chest and you get hit in the chest, it's very easy to make you stumble to where you can't do anything. If you have crippled legs, you can't move as fast. If you have crippled arms, you can't aim as well. And if you have a crippled head, then you just get the concussion effect, which is extremely annoying to have. On top of that, if you do plan on going and doing all the DLCs, going to Old World Blues will get you a couple of perks, like the Brainless, Big Brain, and Spineless perk, which make it all a bit more difficult for you to get crippled in areas like the head and the chest anyway. Coming in at our number 5 spot, we have Certified Tech. This is a Lonesome Road DLC perk, and this one requires you to be level 40. It doesn't have any other requirements other than that, and this perk actually seems pretty good by itself, but it's bugged, so it doesn't work exactly the way that it's supposed to. The way that this is supposed to work is that you get more damage towards robots, which is technically true, but it's bugged as to how much you get. You actually only get 1% more crit hit chance. The other half of the effect actually still works though, so whenever you do kill a robot, you can salvage more parts from them. But that's really all you're getting for this, is just that you can scavenge more things, and by the time you're level 40, you probably already have a ton of resources or have access to a ton of resources. Having the extra damage towards robots really doesn't matter with this one. If this wasn't bugged, then this wouldn't even be on the list, and if you have mods, then you can fix this one and it works just fine. Number 4 is Voracious Reader. This is another Lonesome Road DLC perk. This one you have to get at level 22. You need 7 intelligence to get it. So what this one does is it makes it so damaged books now become blanked books, and blank books can now be turned into blank magazines, which you can copy already existing magazines into them. This one is just too late to be super useful. If this was a much lower leveled perk, like if this was a level 2 perk or a level 4 perk, I could see this actually being pretty useful just so that you could get more and more magazines. But by the time you're hitting level 20, it's not very difficult for you to go around the map and either collect more magazines or just buy them off of traders. Magazines have some use, some of them can be used in combat. I've never really used them in combat though, over things like chems. Aside from that, I've just been using magazines for just getting through skill checks, getting to lockpick or hack into computers mostly. Coming in at our number 3 spot, we have Home on the Range. Home on the Range is an Honest Heart DLC perk. This requires you to be level 8 and have 70 survival, and what this allows you to do is you are able to sleep at campfires to restore health. You can also get the Well Rested ability so long as you're not playing in the hardcore difficulty. This is, again, another thematic perk for like a cowboy build, And that's about it. There's just nothing really stopping you in the game from finding a bed or finding other healing sources to get your healing back. Even if you wanted to get the well rested status effect, you can still get an owned bed in one of the areas where you can actually get your own house. So it doesn't really help there for getting extra XP, and this just doesn't even really help that much in hardcore, since it's still not very difficult to find a place to sleep if you have sleep deprivation going on. So home on the range just isn't really worth it. At our number 2 spot, we have Rad Absorption. Rad Absorption is a level 28 perk that requires 7 endurance for you to use, and this one makes it so your radiation level slowly decreases over time. This sounds kind of useful. It actually can sound pretty useful on paper, but the amount of time that you have to wait for Rad Absorption to kick in to just reduce little bits of your radiation doesn't really matter, as well as just the level requirement to get Rad Absorption is a little bit bizarre. Being level 28 and having Rad Absorption is just not that good. If this was a level 2 or level 4 perk, maybe it might see some more use, but at level 28, it's just, by that time you have so many chems, you have so much Radaway and so much Rad-X that you can just avoid radiation altogether. Aside from that, you could also just go to a doctor and tell them to take away your radiation for a small fee. And then our number 1 spot for our worst perks second time around is Here and Now. This one is a level 10 perk that doesn't have any requirements. You can take this once. And what Here and Now does is it levels you up 1 time, which is pretty awful because perks aren't every level in this game. If you do have a mod to make this a perk every level in this game, then Here and Now is actually okay because it's fine. You can just skip ahead another level and you're not missing out on perks. In regular New Vegas, though, that's not the case. You get a perk every 2 levels, and wasting a perk just to go up another level is not worth it. It's not worth the amount of XP that you got from that. This is the worst XP gain out of any of the perks. So those were 10 more bad perks in Fallout New Vegas. I do plan on doing some more New Vegas lists like this, maybe taking a look at some better perks, as well as taking a look at some of the weapons throughout New Vegas. Thank you guys so very much for watching this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more of my New Vegas content, be sure to click over here. That way you can go to a full playlist of them.